Hey guys, welcome to week 2. Hope you all had a good week 1. I know there are a lot of cancellations last week because of COVID. Hopefully none of those affected you. If your game did get canceled, hopefully got rescheduled or you still got on the field somehow. But hope everyone had a good week 1. Let's dive right into the week 2 review. This clip is actually from a preseason game a couple of weeks ago, but it's a really good play. I think we all need to look at it. Let's kind of talk through it because I know there's a lot of confusion about how this should be properly officiated. A couple of things before we get started. Let's note our down and distance. We're at third down. Looks like we're right at the 10-yard line is our line of scrimmage. Let's keep that stuff in mind. Third down, 10 is our line of scrimmage as we look at this. Alright, so we get a bad snap. And then it looks like we have a kick that does not cross the line of scrimmage. Not that that matters, as we'll talk about later. Let's a couple of things to look for. First of all, let's look at let's adjudicate this play based on the rules before we look at anything else. So we have third down. We're not in scrimmage kick formation, but we're still going to have a kick. A kick, according to Rule 224, is just an intentional striking the ball with the knee, lower leg, or foot. So we have a kick. Beats the correct definition there. You also have a scrimmage kick. Again, Rule 224, a scrimmage kick is just a kick during a scrimmage down that is behind the line of scrimmage. That's all we have to have there. So let's look at what happens to this ball. It's kicked. The kick is legal. There's nothing illegal about this kick. It meets all the definitions. It meets the definitions of a scrimmage kick. And then it's going to go out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. So if you look at Rule 627, which covers scrimmage kick, it says when any scrimmage kick is out of bounds between the goal lines or becomes dead in bounds between the goal lines while no player is in possession, or inbounds anywhere while opponents are in joint possession, the ball is awarded to R. Following out of bounds kick, the ball is put in play at the inbound spot unless R chooses a spot of first touching. So looking at that rule, and that's 627, this ball becomes dead. We're in between the goal lines. It's out of bounds. So according to Rule 627, R will get this ball, or B, R, whatever you want to call them at this point. We'll get this ball where it went out of bounds, which is the 5. The confusion came in. A lot of people are saying this ball has to cross the line of scrimmage in order to be a scrimmage kick. That is not the rule. Again, we just cited you all the rules. 224 defines a kick and the scrimmage kick. 627 talks about what happens when the scrimmage kick becomes dead or out of bounds in between the goal lines, which is what happens here. So even though it's third down, the ball does not get retained by K or A. It has to go to R or B, and it goes to them at the 5. So that's the rules, breaking that down rule-wise. Don't get confused by whole having to cross the neutral zone thing. Mechanically, this is tough. See, that far wing does a good job of getting to the goal line. The only thing here is referees, we have to be on the end line quicker, because if you see right here, A, we're in the way. And B, he comes mighty close to stepping on the end line. And he may have stepped on the end line too. We don't know. We're not in the best position to see that. We have to be in position. We have to be on the end line because we have the end line as a referee. Because if he steps out here, then we have a safety, and everything that happens afterwards is null and void. But we have to be in position to see that clearly. Good job by the head line judge staying on the goal line, because at this point the goal line is important. Two most important lines right now are the end line and the goal line. Once the I guess we gotta call him the kicker. Once he kicks it, the end line is no longer a threat. The goal line becomes the most important line, because if that ball doesn't come out of the end zone, let's say it goes out of bounds in the end zone, well then we have a whole different set of rules we gotta look at. But good job by the wing there. You know, it's tough play to adjudicate. Mechanically, like I said, mechanically the only bad thing would be referees. We gotta get to the end line quicker. But tough play. But now, in case that happens again, we all know how to correctly adjudicate it. Alright, now let's look at another play. Alright, so we got an interception. No DPI here. This is clean. A couple things. Let's talk about why it's clean. When you look at playing through the back as one of the categories of DPI. Remember, we talked about categories of DPI in the last video. But playing through the back, you're literally coming through the receiver's back. Here he made a little bit of contact with his shoulder, but he's playing the ball. He's not going through the receiver exactly. Just kind of a shoulder brush. He's clearly playing the ball. The receiver still has an opportunity to get the ball. So we're good here. No DPI. I'm glad we held off on it. Alright, so now we got to reverse mechanics. We're off to the races. Let's be very careful. A couple things. One, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Deeps. When the ball is snapped, don't immediately take off. Don't immediately take off to the back pedal. Walk 1 or 2 steps backward. We call these read steps. Walk 1 or 2 steps backwards. Get a read on the play and see what's going to happen. Your receiver takes off downfield, by all means start backpedaling. Here, it's just a real short 5 and stop. So there's a deep on both sides of the ball, because that's what happens on both sides of the ball. Just about a 5 and stop. As a deep, we can stop right now. You know, settle our eyes so they're not bouncing up and down. We can stop and read what's happening on this play. If receiver catches it and turns back upfield, then we got to start backpedaling. We're at the 20. We'll be at the 20. He's at the 40. We can make up 20 yards before he makes up 40. They're fast. We're not as fast, but they're not that much faster than we are. So you can make up those 20 yards pretty quickly. So stop and read what happens on this play. Ball bounces. Now we're still stopped. We should not be moving as a deep. You're stopping. You're watching what's going to happen. Because now we're not even in the picture, deeps. We're 20 yards out of play. And we don't really want to be that far out. So, we're off to the races. Let's talk about the wings for a minute. We harp a lot on not getting beat to the goal line. And there's reasons we don't get beat to the goal line. Reasons besides aesthetics. Ball carrier drops the ball before he crosses the goal line. We need to know. But when we talk about not getting beat to the goal line, we still have to officiate as we're running toward the goal line. You can see here this wing goes a few yards, not even looking. I understand you want to make sure the white's clear, but run and turn your head. You know, basketball officials do it all the time. We can do it as well. But we don't want to be running toward the goal line and just looking at the goal line. We still have to look back. The umpire saves this crew here because as you see, we have an illegal blindside block right here. And the umpire is the only one that gets their eyes on that. This needs to come from the field judge. Field judge can see that. Field judge, yeah, you got the runners. But we have to be able to officiate the runners and some of the action going around. There's only 6 of us on the field. And wings do it every play. They have the runner and they have action going around. So the field judge, you want to have that action going around. So umpire saves us, which is good. Glad he saw it. But the field judge needs to pick this up too. Theoretically, you can have 2 flags on this play. Alright, so now we're going back down. So we had the ball out. And we have a beanbag. We have one official with a beanbag. One official is indicating the ball is down. It's just mass confusion Field judge should be able to be in this as well and be able to rule what happened. I understand he's got to run around some players. I get that. There's a lot going on. You also have a player in the mixed colors that we would want to have eyes on, which makes this complicated, especially for the field judge. In fact, honestly, I would rather the field judge be worried more about this, because we have plenty of eyes going on what's down here. Now, wings, you have the spot inside the 2, but that doesn't mean you can be completely out of this play. We do it all the time in a normal scrimmage play. Deeps will communicate with the wings as they're coming downfield. Hey, your spot's the 2, or hey, your spot's the 5, whatever. The same thing here. Remember, reverse mechanics, we're just switching. Alright, deeps become wings, wings become deeps. That's why it's important for wings and deeps to know each other's mechanics and know especially how to communicate with each other. I think that would eliminate some of the confusion around here, where we have a wing drop in the bag and really no idea of how the ball got on the ground. Again, I understand it is tough. It's tough play. Anytime you have reverse mechanics, they're tough. But just some things to think about there. It's, we learn from these. It's all part of the game. Let's look at another one. Again, communication. Communication may just be the theme for this week. There's communication among the 2 wings. We're being snapped from the 14, so let's just go off of the information we're being given by the officials. No, that's all we can do. So the official on the far side, the headline judge, he is indicating he has 2 off the line of scrimmage. And that's the information he's given us, so that's what we got to go off of. I know it looks like the inside receiver might be on, but again, we're working with camera angles. We have to go off the information we're being given. He's got 2 off. The line judge on the near side, you can't see him. He's indicating the outside receiver is on, and inside receiver is off. So that would put us at 5 in the backfield, correct? Because if these 2 are off, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he's off, so that's 5. I also made the argument that this tackle is off, or maybe this tackle. Again, it's hard to see, but we have to go with the information we're given. So we wind it. You can see we already have a flag on the ground for legal formation. So we're going to have a touchdown that is going to be called back. So I know touchdown callback. Anytime you have a touchdown called back, coaches get mad. It is what it is. But either way, you're going to have it called back. Because if you even say he's on, well then he's ineligible downfield. But the point of this is communication among the wings. He's indicating he's got 2 off. He indicates he's going to have 1 on, 1 off. That gives us 5. I'm sure they're talking to each other. They're telling us that. Also, remember, the further out we get from the ball, we're just looking for separation. On the line of scrimmage, closer to the ball, we want them legally by the rule. I believe it's head breaking the plane at the center's waist. We have to have that. But the further out we get from the ball, we're just looking for clear separation. Blade of grass is what we call it sometimes. We want to do what we can to make the formation legal. So, again, good job here. The call is right. We clearly have 5 in the backfield. If they're off, and he's off, and then plus those 2, we have 5 in the backfield. Alright, let's move on to another play. Here we're going to look at some mechanics on the deep, on the scrimmage kick. So you have both deep set up about the 5, 7, which is fine. You have a short kick. Once that kick hits the ground, if it's continuing to bounce toward you, then just stay where you are. Don't move up. You never want to move up off the goal line until you absolutely have to. So I would just stay there, because then it takes a little funny bounce, and now we're beat to the goal line, and we don't know what happened. So we're about 3-4 yards out of position there. So when you're back deep, ball takes a bounce. As long as it keeps bouncing, as long as it bounces straight up or forward, we don't want to move up. We want to stay back, because we don't know what happens. We don't know what this ball is going to do. Never move forward. Never move up as the ball is still moving forward. So it just takes us out of position. All right, let's talk about blocking the back. We'll be looking here at the bottom of the screen. So look at this receiver, number 2. So a couple of things about blocking the back. There's only 2 reasons we would ever throw a block in the back. One is a safety foul. If a would-be defender is shoved in the back, hit in the back, anything that's safety related in the back, obviously we're going to throw a flag. The second time that we would throw the flag is if we're blocking the back, is when there is a distinct advantage gained by the block in the back. And that's one of those where you can have just a slight shove in the back, but if it displaces the would-be tackler in any way, then you have a block in the back, because you cannot block a player in the back. So that's the one where you have, you throw a block in the back and the coach may say, well, he barely touched him. If it displaced the defender enough for him to basically take him out of the play, then we could throw a block in the back for that. So those are your 2 times you would throw a block in the back. So in this one, you don't have that egregious safety block in the back that we look for. So if we're just looking for the one that illegally displaces a player with a push in the back, then you kind of have to go with kind of like how you think of a hold. It doesn't have an effect on the play or something like that. This block in the back has no effect on the play. It's not a safety foul. We established that. That player is in no imminent danger by anything that's happening. You could have a hold, but then again, the tackle is made right there. The player is even in on the hold a little, in on the tackle a little bit. So there's just no reason to throw this flag here. You can kind of work through some of that stuff as you officiate this. So again, just like I said, the 2 reasons why you throw a block in the back. One's safety foul, we obviously want to get. And then does it displace the player enough where it takes him out of position to make a play? Look at the roughing the passer here. It's a good roughing the passer call. When you look at roughing the passer, did the defender have an opportunity to let up? Not only did he have opportunity to let up here, you see there's extra action. He initiates after the pass is thrown. That's when he extends his hands. So it's not so much that he didn't have the opportunity to let up, is that he initiated an extra action after the ball was released by his hands coming out. And since he's wearing red gloves, we can see it even better on film. This is a good roughing the passer call. Not so much on timing, although timing does play a factor in this. He could have let up. He just initiates that extra action. And there's just no room for that. All right, last couple of plays we'll look at. We're watching these defenders. Call is a block below the waist. And it's just not there. Remember, for defenders, it's the same as offense. There's got to be an immediate action at the snap. As you can see, right when the ball snapped, they just dive down. The only one where you could have a block below the waist is right here. So how he takes 2 steps, but he doesn't make contact below the knees. The blocker kind of catches him and kind of, helps them to the ground. So you can't throw a block below the waist there, and you really can't on these two players either, because the action is immediate. Same thing here, again, immediate action by that nose guard. Ball snapped, he's down, everything's good. Now one of the two tackles, they kind of came in, if they had delayed and then went down, then you could. But this nose guard, it's immediate. So no reason to throw the flag there for block below the waist. Alright, that's it for week 2. Hopefully your game does not get canceled this week, and hopefully you can hopefully you can officiate, stay safe, hopefully the players stay safe. And remember to just stay focused throughout the whole game. Thank you. And remember to like and subscribe.